Hello, I'm Matt Guff from thehouse.com, and this is Jason Henderson from Burton Snowboards.
How you doing, buddy?
So good, so good. Jason has been in kind of walking us through the 2018 Burton Step-On lineup, and I reached out to the Dig My Quiver closed Facebook group of 5,800 participants and asked them, what do you guys want to know about the Burton Step-On system? Okay. And Jason and I are both members of that group. I love that group. Seriously, that's.
Yeah. I'm also a client.
I'm also a client, but it is really cool to kind of like walk through and like look and see like all the topics that people are coming up.
Well, it's great. I mean, the thing I love about the group is that we all share the passion of snowboarding.
Right.
So we all explore snowboarding in different ways, and it's an awesome group.
Yep.
So snowboarding's awesome.
It is. It's good. It's really nice. And of course, I reached out to the group and posted and asked, like, what do you want to know about this new step-on system that's coming out? And I have like pages and pages of questions. Some of them are comments, some of them are really funny questions. And of course, you're going to get that from a crew like this. But we're going to walk through each one. Jason hasn't seen any of these questions. I've highlighted the ones that we're going to kind of walk through, and we're just going to start it out.
Which is most of it.
You ready?
Yeah. What am I Dig My Quiver brothers and sisters got to say?
You're in for a lot. This is
sweet.
Joe Laird. How much do you feel in control of your board without having actual straps across your boot?
Rides the same.
Same.
Rides the same. One thing that I did notice, I was kind of skeptical of Hippo, just like everybody else, when the step-in system was kind of revisited, but they wanted to make it ride the same and ride just as good.
Yep.
So you have your contact points in the front.
Yep.
So that's really essentially where your toe strap's going to go. That's all you really need to hold on your toes, because your heel edge, 90% of your heel edge response comes from your high back.
Yeah.
So then the main engagement point in the back is this cleat back here. So there's a couple different steps to that. So even if there is a little bit of snow built up, you start stepping in, you got one click, you're in.
Yep.
So and the tighter you push on it, the tighter it goes down.
Got it.
So as far as like having the actual response, it's pulling from further back on your heel. So we're actually kind of noticing that you're getting a little bit more toe edge response because you're pulling from further back than up here.
Got it.
And also you're not pushing through, depending on the type of strap you have. There's a lot of really thick padded straps out there. There might be a lot of give that way. So I personally ride, I don't have it here, but I ride the men's version of this, the Photon, that has the strap on it. I personally like a little stiffer boot like that. And we make the Ruler, which is a little softer, but I mean, honestly, like it rides pretty much the same. I mean, didn't really notice a huge difference.
Yeah. Next up, we have George Humberto Gomez. How comfortable are the boots?
Well, it's a Burton boot, so
it's comfortable.
They do a lot to make them fit well. So it's has everything else that all the different features that Burton boots have.
Sure.
Total comfort construction. One thing that they have refined for production from last year's samples that were that I rode, that you rode, that most people rode and kind of reviewed last year. Some people's feet, they were getting some pressure points in the forefront of the foot. Yep. So they did kind of tweak their this little section right in here. So it's not quite as, it doesn't kind of pinch as much. So they did tweak that a little bit. So that they've really done a lot of like really little tweaks, since since last year at this time, just to make sure it's really good, heading into production and for the public. So.
Got it. Justin Baker asks, or Michael Keefe asks, does the board feel too attached to your boots? I'm not sure what that means. Too attached. Well,
I wouldn't say so, because it's basically, it's a reflex baseplate. It's just like a regular, Mission or Malavita. So it has, as far as the connection point from the binding to the board, is the same. The only difference is it's connected a little bit further back, but that's the reason why they went with 3 points of contact
instead of 4.
One of the 500 different prototypes that they tried, like different directions. They tried one with 4 points of contact on it, but it was actually anchoring it too much.
Got it.
So they found by going to 1, it actually provided that same foot roll that we get with our strap bindings, and that's something you get with Burton bindings is you get that really good foot roll.
Yeah,
so, and it's pretty key. It can't be anchored to the board too much.
Right. All right. Okay. Then how much stress can one of those clips handle before the boots get torn out? What's the lateral foot pounds to rip those nubs off? That was asked by Justin Baker and Stephen Mainley.
Well, I'm not the engineer. You'd have to ask Doyle on that, but it passes all the same stress standards and stress tests that all of our buckles do.
Okay.
So, I mean, you're basically going to pull your leg off before you're going to pull this thing out. So, they got a lot of R&D behind this. It's 5 years of R&D behind this, and obviously this is a really good our main connection point. And they take it very serious. And people kind of have a misconception that just because it's one single point in the back that it's more susceptible to break. But you think about it, if your ankle buckle was to give out, imagine if that blew out. You're coming out of your binding.
Yeah, for sure.
So essentially you have one connection point with a regular strap system anyway. Yeah. Your ankle strap, if that breaks, you're coming out.
Oh, for sure.
So this basically is built to the same stress levels as a normal ankle strap connection point. So
yep, makes sense. How comfortable do you feel performing hard carves at high speeds? Same. Yeah,
like I said, if not better on toe strike because you're pulling from further back. So.
Got it. That was asked by Cameron Smith. Next up is Ben Hayes. What's the point if you still have to bend over and deal with your pant legs?
You don't have to deal with your pant
legs.
Why
is that?
Because you got this handy dandy little money clip back here.
Yeah.
So your pant leg goes right there.
That makes sense. That's actually one of my favorite.
Or if you ride Burton pants, another little plug here that got the leg lifts. You can
That's right.
You can pull it up just enough so it's right there.
It doesn't touch.
Yeah, you don't have to deal with your pant legs at all.
Got it. Nathan Andrig asks, which model is best for free riding?
Well, again, it comes down to the boots. There's right now there's two boots. You got the Ruler, which is a little softer. Yep. And then you got the Photon. So the binding is the same. It's just one men's binding, one women's binding.
Got it.
And it's a 30% glass loaded nylon tray, just like a Mission or a Malavita would be.
Got it.
So it would basically be if you like a stiffer boot or a softer boot. So I would say for free riding, definitely the Photon. Yeah, it's gonna give you that support to cut through all the chop and everything. So.
Got it. Pete Stein asks, do the boots have a natural feel outside of the bindings? I'm not sure. I don't.
It's gonna feel just like anything else. I mean, just like any other boot.
Oh, while you're walking around.
Yeah. So one thing about old step-in systems, especially ours, I mean, they all sucked. I mean, but one thing that especially our old step-in is that it had a really stiff sole in it. It had that stiff plastic sole here, and it had the engagement point here where these little claws came in and engaged you right there. So the boot itself was extremely heavy, and also the sole of the boot was really stiff. Yeah. So this is a normal sole, just like any other boots in our line. Yep. So there's no you're on the binding. So.
And they weigh the same.
They weigh the same
as a regular. So we actually we weighed the step-on in a size medium and the Ruler in a size 9, and they weigh 3 pounds and 15 ounces, and that's the same as a Mission in a size medium and a regular Ruler in a size 9. Yep. So and no weight difference.
Yep. It's weight is not the issue. I mean, and I understand where a lot of people are coming from, the old system. I mean, you got to think this was 20 plus years ago.
A lot has came.
A lot. Engineering has come so far. The way Burton engineers things and develops things, with our rapid prototype machines and them being able to turn concepts around so fast, things have come a long way. Yep. So, the only thing that this is really has in common with old step-in systems is that you don't have to bend over to get into your bindings. Everything, and that was what when they decided to kind of revisit this, 5+ years ago. Yep. Was it's got to be easy to get into, and it's got to not suck.
Got it.
So,
cool.
It's
and Justin Baker, this is a good question. Can you ride these in the nude with the boots, obviously?
Yes, but if you get a really long testicle, you might get that caught in there.
Yeah, that's not a good
So
thing.
you got to be careful. You got to make sure you wear your jock strap, or at least tape it to your leg.
Right. Sean Sean Riley asks.
I love this group.
This is good. The very slight bit of play in the boot binding interface around the toe clip area / clicking, does or will this result in any wear and tear malfunctions after some time?
No. Well, what they've done, again, they've made little tweaks since production. They've dialed in the density of the foam to reduce a little bit of that clicking. And also these, everything on this binding is replaceable. So these little cleats you just popped out. I mean, they've done, like Doyle made some crazy like machine that, you know, had like engine cams and stuff in it where it basically just stepped in and out for, you know, 500,000 cycles or whatever. They just let it go, and there wasn't really any wear. But if for whatever reason you do wear, or you know, this thing flies off your roof rack going down the highway and you snap one of these off, I mean, it's totally replaceable. So,
Got it.
And just to kind of address the clicking, I know exactly what he's talking about. Let's talk about what's really going on there. So these being a reflex baseplate. So, sorry, little thing here. So I kind of noticed this too when I rode. It was like, you know, you got this little clicking and little vibration, but essentially what's happening is, you know, it's built on the reflex baseplate.
Yep.
So when your board is flexing, the binding is flexing with it too. So what's happening is that these little ears here are kind of flexing, and they're bumping up and down on the cleat on the boot.
Got it.
It's not doing that. That's all it's doing. Basically, the same thing is happening in your strap system with your toe strap. I mean, it's still flexing. That distance is changing. It's just that you can't hear it.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the clicking thing, like you've never heard it before, so you're like, oh, that's kind of weird. But then you're like, all right. If you realize what it is, it's like you don't even think about it.
It'd be like the hum of your tires if you have big tread on your tires.
Yeah.
Kinda like.
Yeah.
Maybe not. No.
And one thing I noticed too that was kind of like, you know, especially riding Midwest here, we got a lot of corn snow. There's no toe strap, so you feel snow like hitting your your boot. Yeah. It was just one thing I kind of noticed.
I didn't notice that. Yeah. What makes them any different than other companies' failed attempts? Is this just the right time for the same thing?
No. This is a completely redone idea.
Yeah.
Well, the idea is the same. Making it convenient, easy for people to get in. You know, and Burton's not saying that this is gonna be the future. I mean, maybe it will be. Who knows? Yeah. You know, it's another option for people. It's just, and like I said before, engineering has come so far. I mean, think about your normal boots and bindings. Okay, now think about normal boots and bindings from 20 years ago. Right. If you're telling me nothing has changed and they're the same, then I'm not going to take you seriously, because everything has come so far. Everybody's boots, everybody's bindings have come so far in 20 years. And, you know, like I said, Burton's technology, just technology in general, and the way they do things has come a long way.
That's right.
This is not anywhere close to old step-in systems.
Right. Perfect. That was asked by Fred Kember. Next up, we have Levi Martin. How well does the clip hold under stress? Let's see how much stress the clips can hold. Let's see some good butters, some good nose presses, some seriously high-speed carving turns. Tweak the snot out of them, and let's see them hold up.
Well, there's nothing I can do with you right here, but
right.
But you know, there's footage of Terrier riding it.
Yep.
Obviously laying down carbs. There's Alex Andrews, who's riding it last year. There's some footage of him at the Bone Zone, like,
sure,
you know, doing some crazy shit. You know, Dave Downing's been on it for a few years now, and those guys are just laying it over. So I mean, the connection is there. Yeah, so good. They can't put these out, you know, knowing that they'll fail. That's just not the way you run a company. You know, like this, they're not going to just set themselves up to fail. So.
Of course. Next up, Andrew Gobel. Can it be turned into a releasable binding for AVI terrain?
I don't know where they're at with that.
Yeah, I don't know. What is it? What do you think?
Avalanche terrain? Is that what they're asking?
Yep. Maybe you misspelled something, but avalanche terrain.
Like meaning like the binding releases, like.
Maybe. Yeah, can be turned into releasable binding for avalanche terrain. Suppose, well...
That, I guess I can't speak to that 100%. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, suppose you could, if you get caught in an avalanche, you could maybe reach down, maybe? I've never been in that situation. I don't know.
Yeah, fortunately.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I guess it's, you just kind of flip that and you just come out, I guess. I don't know. I mean...
That's a tough question.
You could run a cord to... Like your airbags, blow that, everything flies off.
That could be.
That's a good question, but who knows where this is gonna go? Like I said, this is just kind of the start. The infinite stages, and that's why they're taking it slow. They're not completely cleaning the table and saying, no more strap bindings. It's like no, this is just an option for people.
Got it.
We're gonna continue to develop the best strap bindings out there.
Got it. Galen Dion asks, heel lift. If your boot is super locked down, then won't your heel just lift up like all other step-ins before?
Again, kind of going back to the way old boots fit. You didn't get any heel hold.
Got it.
So again, it does, to his point, I do agree. It does really come down to making sure the boot fits right.
Wearing the right fit.
Yes.
The right size.
So that's where, personally, I like the stiffer one with the ankle strap because it does give you that. Plus, also on the inside, there's that, we do have that cuff in our Imprint 3-liner setup. We have that internal cuff that does have little Velcro spots so you can put in J-bars.
Yep.
So if you do have a really narrow ankle, you can really customize the fit of that. And Burton, they don't come in the box, but Burton will send them to you for free. So
got it.
You can really dial in, the heel hold between our liners, those J-bars, the internal cuff, and then it's pretty.
And even on the ruler, the New England ropes mechanism that wraps like that heel too.
Yep. So on the ruler itself, it's got the lockdown tech, so when you actually crank this down, I know it's kind of hard distance, you can't see it, but this snakes through here, and the more you crank this down, it actually narrows up the heel area. So it pulls the front of your boot, or it pulls the back of the boot and the front of the boot together on your foot, instead of just trying to push your whole foot back into the boot.
Got it.
So they're, again, making sure the boot fits correctly is very important, which it should be anyways.
Right. Number one. Nick Richardson's asked, can you show where we attach the leash?
Well, it'd be pretty simple. So it actually comes with a leash. It loops through here, and then there's a little clip. There's a little...
On the medial side.
Yep. So.
Perfect. Jonas Farrell asks, do the boots have any points that pinch or are uncomfortable, or was that sorted out from the people posting about demo pairs last year?
Yeah, we kind of answered that already, but like I personally, everybody's feet are different, so that's, so I never noticed that, but some people did, and there was a lot, there was more and more feedback, so they went in and they did address that, so.
Got it. Brian Carrier asks, also, how does the mechanism not get iced up?
Well, they actually, and this is something they actually have changed since last year. They changed the shape of the clips back here. Okay. And then they also changed the shape of the cleat in back here.
Got it.
So kind of opening it up a little bit more. So you just have, there's not as many like little fine steps in there that can get iced over.
Got it.
And another thing too is it's up off the snow. So, it's not, you're not standing on it. It's not like you're not packing snow into it.
It's on the high back.
Yeah, it's further up here.
Yeah. I suppose like when you ride, how often does snow get stuck on the inside of your high back?
Or on your buckles. Sometimes I guess it can happen. But,
yeah.
And it's all, and that's one thing I've noticed over the years is like anytime you've tried to like cover things up to keep snow from getting in, it just makes it worse because it always finds its way in and it doesn't find its way out. Yeah. So the more they, the more they open it up, and the more they give, so if stuff comes in, it just falls out. So, it's icing really hasn't been an issue, especially with the the new production ones.
Cool. So. Mig Fullbag asks, will a Step-On Driver X be available in the near future? People want to know.
Near future, no.
Cool.
So there'll be something coming.
Got it.
So
secrets.
yes.
Brent Grossman asks, how tall are the bases? Where's that mission? How tall are the bases?
You got it over there.
Got one coming. Coming in
Well,
hot.
like you said, it's a reflex base plate. You know, it's a reflex base plate. So again, the
Same.
Yeah, it's the same. Cushioning's the same. You know,
Yep.
you're up off the snow the same. You're not like super jacked up. You know.
Got it. Brent also asks, when is the Bluetooth going to be released so I can disengage with my phone?
What, you
Oh,
didn't
you
get
got
that? You didn't get that update on your iPhone already?
Yeah,
I got mine.
I got mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So- you know what's funny? Like, I guess it could come someday.
It could.
Doyle could figure that out in a day.
Oh my
The way
gosh.
that guy's mind operates, he's like, oh yeah, let's just do an electronic piston and, you know, like.
That could be actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huh? Zach Winan asks, if loosening the boas recommended for extended walking? Since the boots are the straps, one assumes they won't be that great to walk in, which is inevitable, but worth learning about. Will there be a step-on split connector or snowshoe?
That I don't know where
First,
they're at
yeah,
with
first
development.
one. Loosening to walk around?
Well, yeah, it's just like any other boot.
Yeah.
You
Is
know.
it recommended though? Would you recommend it? I guess I never loosened my boas when I walked around when I wasn't riding.
I mean, you can. I mean,
can,
it's
It's an option.
they're all the coiler on the top. So I mean, if you
Yeah.
want to loosen it up, you know, you can there.
Yeah.
You know, the ankle. I guess if you just want to, you know, you can just leave that loose. I mean,
Sure.
And I guess, you know, we're not super concerned about, you know, make sure people can walk and do the 40-yard dash and these things, but you know, everything all the boas are on the outside of the boot for a reason, so you're not tripping over them. And
Got
you know, the even the strapped one, even if you have it completely loose, it's not like it's going to be hanging over too
Got
far
it.
and tripping on it. It's still going to
Sure.
be
Got it.
up there.
And I like
so.
this second question though. Will there be a step-on split connector or snowshoe? I think there's some really cool capabilities or possibilities.
Yeah,
with
that's kind of the thing is like, you know, we're kind of in the infancy of this. You
Yeah.
know, who knows where this could go?
that. Yeah.
I mean, if
Who
there's
knows?
enough, you know, if there's enough need for it, and you know, like there's a there's a way, you know.
Good. Jeff Alberstead asks, could an airplane take off on a runway-sized treadmill moving against the direction of the plane?
No.
No, is that true? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know because there has to be a
What's the
ground
question
speed.
again?
The question is by Jeff Alberstead. Could an airplane take off on a runway-sized treadmill moving against the direction of the plane? I'd say no.
Because you have to have you have to have the airspeed.
Yeah.
The wind has got to go underneath. You'd just be sitting in place.
Wow.
Because that's what lifts you up. That's what the wings
Yeah.
are for.
Huh. How about that? That's a funny question. Tam Dang asks, will I be able to ride down the K12 with these? Is he talking about K2 or K12? What's K12?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Yes, the answer is yes. You'll be able to.
You can ride anywhere with these as you can a strap lining.
Simple enough. Forrest Baker asked a very fun question. Why does Burton think they can bring back step-in bindings?
Well, we kind of touched on that earlier. I mean, well, we can because they spend a lot of money, you know, having a lot of smart people figure this out.
Yeah,
I mean, they have the technology and the prototyping capabilities to do it.
sure.
So
How many?
it's the idea. Everything else is completely different.
Yeah.
So-
Now, how many prototypes did they go through besides to say they decided that this was going to be one we wanted
That
to
was
move
the
forward
direction. Yeah, I heard the number like of over 500.
with? Over 500 different before they actually really started working on
Like,
it.
hey, this is the direction we want to move.
Wow, that's pretty.
And then I heard like the first step in, you know, just to give you an idea of like how technology and just how things are developed, of how, you know, how we do things and how just things are developed anyway. Like the first generation when they, you know, 20 plus years ago when they were trying to figure this out, it was like 3.
Wow.
You know, so they just had to like, all right, well, this makes sense. So I guess we got to go on this. Otherwise,
Right.
you know.
Jeez. Nick Torrid asks, what pros use them?
Terry's been riding it. I mean, I know he doesn't ride it everywhere. And a lot of that, I think, basically comes down to, it's not the connection point, it's more the boots.
Okay.
So, like, I know, like when he's over in Japan riding, you know, crazy deep powder, like he rides really soft boots, you know, and that's just what he likes. So,
Yeah.
but he's been riding it. Alex Andrews has been riding it. Dave Downing. So,
cool.
Yeah, people are riding it. So.
Yep. Ben Trulio asks, how many years were these in development?
Oh, it's been 5.
5.
Yeah, I mean they even at Burton, and most people at Burton didn't know that they were working on this for probably the first 3 years or so.
Wow.
Like they actually had a separate room in Craig's, like walled off, called the White Room, where it was like, they pulled the lead engineers in and said, let's figure this out. And
cool.
We can't tell anybody, and only certain people are allowed in this room, and don't come out until you figure it out.
Yeah.
So
right. It's hard to keep stuff a secret. Like even in the Dig My Quiver group, like people find like mid-season releases, and then like they post them in like early October. It's like, keep it a secret. If you know, keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Make it fun for everybody.
Well, it's just the world we live in. Information travels so fast.
Yeah. Leaks.
Yeah.
People are leaking stuff. Gordon McDonald asks, hi Matt, can you demonstrate the forward lean on the high backs? Yeah, that's a really cool question. Forward lean is actually adjusted by two little kind of like pivot screws right there, and it's almost like a mid flex living hinge.
Yep. So the screws, you screw it, the more you screw those in, it actually pushes against the top. There's a little plate in here, so then the forward lean just gets further and further. So.
Yep. And how do you know how much you've adjusted it?
It tells you on the screw, just like on the other bindings where it'll say F1, F2, 3. Like it'll say that right on there.
Got it. Do they make them for men?
Real men, yes.
That was Greg Smith. Bo Gigley asked, do the production models still have the creak through the turns? We kind of already went through that. Nick Williams, when you're ripping that toe side, how much stability do you have?
The same or more.
Same or more?
Because you think about it, you're on your toe, you're putting pressure, like, that's kind of the benefit of this versus, old step-ins, especially ours. Like, you were riding on a mechanism. Like, you had those claws that came in, and you're essentially riding on the mechanism.
Yep.
With this, with the connection point being up here, your boot is on the binding. So you're riding, you have the same feel.
Yeah.
Toe and heel. So when you're on that toe side turn, you're putting the same amount of pressure like on your toes as you would if you're riding a strap binding.
Yep.
And actually, finding it does give you a little bit quicker response because you're pulling from further back on the heel, versus.
And that's one reason.
We kind of covered that a little bit earlier, but
that's one reason I really like them. Like you can really feel your heel edge moving up quicker. I really, that's pretty sweet. Connor Miles. How do they handle in a crash? Will you eject? Does it stay locked in?
Stays locked in.
Locked in.
You don't want to come out of these things.
No way. No. Victor VJ Bahar asks, how difficult is it to step in on powder days?
Well, you got to have a stable platform underneath you. Yeah. So it's one of those I know what you're saying. Like you kind of get in, it's kind of deep. You can actually get into these sitting down. So obviously you're going to want to clear as much snow out of there as possible. But once you kind of get that first click in there, like you're in. So then you can kind of stand up, and then then you can put a little more pressure.
Got it. So. And show me again how easy it is to get out.
To get out? Yeah. Oh, you just pull that and you come out. So.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you don't need to hold that down. So you just
lift it once.
Yeah.
David Donaldson, how many ride days can someone reasonably expect from this system? Ride days.
As many as anything else.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. Well, you said there was a tool created to see what the breaking point would be, or like how many times you can go in and out.
Well, yeah, when they test all that stuff, they do the cycle testing and they do the stress tests, and it's all this. It goes through all the same testing that all of our strap bindings do. So
Got it.
It's not like it's any less or more, or it's the same. However long you want to ride.
Yeah. Bob Edgren. When I first was looking through these, I thought it was Bob Elmgreen.
Oh,
yeah, Bob.
Yeah, Bobby.
If you step in and lock the toes first, can you still lock the heel? Can you accidentally lock the toes only? Is there a red/green thong that you can see to know you are locked in correctly?
There's no red or green light, but I mean, I know what you're saying. Like if you kind of stumble and you kind of get the front in there, it would really depends on how far forward you are, but really no, because basically you just jam the heel back, and then it kind of funnels right in there. Like everything kind of funnels that cleat in there.
Got it.
So you can kind of start with the heel, and then it goes to the toe.
Sure.
So,
but if you're can you accidentally put your toes in first and then engage the heel?
Yeah, if you hit it right, because this is kind of all tapered in here, so it's kind of meant to, like, I've done that before where you kind of push the toe in and then line the heel, but
got it.
Really I guess you can kind of, it's easier just to go straight with the heel and just, it's more of like a flat down thing, and then you just kind of roll your foot. But
cool.
You can if you want. I mean, I know like with my strap bindings, it's what we always did for years. It's like you almost kind of like, you almost take like to make sure your boot's in the back of the heel, like you just kind of step this way and then push it down.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
Yeah, that's
like snug.
Yeah, I did that for for years or whatever. But I mean, there is a little bit of a learning curve. I mean, you just kind of step down, and then to get out, you got to twist your foot out. But it's so intuitive that it's really easy. But after riding strap bindings for so many years, like when I first rode this, it was just kind of like, all right, I feel like I should touch my bindings. Like something's I gotta
yeah, because you're so used to that habit.
It's like it's part of the it's kind of part of the whole like ritual of it. But but you just step in, get your boots dialed in, and just go. Right,
man. Well, thank you guys so much for leaving all those questions on Dig My Quiver, and of course, Jason, thanks for being here to answer those questions.
Yeah. Hopefully, I didn't create more questions, but hopefully, I answered some for everybody. So
yeah, maybe. No, if you guys do have more questions,
it's awesome. This group is great.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Yeah, if you guys do have more questions, though, leave them below on our YouTube channel, and we'll answer those as quickly as we can. Yep. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. Jason and I have been doing videos for a long time. There's tons on the channel. If you want to see those, subscribe and just kind of start following everything we're doing here at the house. Thanks again.
Feel free to PM me too if you want. If you got any questions.
Oh no. Oh, there's a lot of.
Can't guarantee I'll answer them all, but if I'm trying to help everybody, I'll help anybody out I can. So.
That's awesome. Cool. Thanks again, guys. Peace.